ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वादरायणं सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। वर्ष नंबर 343। आरूढ़ शक्तेरहमो विनाशः कर्तुं न शक्या सहसापि पंडितैः। ये निर्विकल्पाख्य समाधि निश्चलः ताननन्तरानंत भवाहि वासना। I repeat again. आरूढ़ शक्तेः रहमो विनाशः कर्तुं न शक्या सहसापि पंडितैः। ये निर्विकल्पाख्य समाधि निश्चलः ताननन्तरानंत भवाहि वासना। The translation says, even the wise find it impossible to suddenly destroy the ego once it has become strong, except by those who have become perfectly calm through non-dual absorption, nirvikalpa samadhi. Indeed, desires are the effect of innumerable births. See the translation again. Even wise men cannot suddenly destroy egoism after it has once become strong, except those who are perfectly calm through the nirvikalpa samadhi. Desires are verily the effect of innumerable births. In last discourse, we studied that a seeker should be eligible with 4 qualifications. Then, having studied from the Guru, then reasoning and contemplation. This is the way to achieve realization. There is no shortcut. The thought he continued. Now Shankaracharya says, आरूढ़ शक्ते अहमो विनाशा कर्तुम न शक्या सहसापि पंडितै. The sense of I-ness is very strong. The identification with the body or identification with the 5 seats is very strong. It is not easy to remove it. Not even common person, even a knowledgeable person cannot destroy it easily. Now he says, आरूढ़ शक्ते अहमो विनाशा. The sense of egoism very strong. How it gets strongness? Actually, a seeker, the state of seeker is like a bridge. In this state, you are not satisfied with the world and you have not reached yet another soul. Seeker means the person who is not satisfied with visible things. Body is visible. So no need to seek. Seeker means you are not satisfied. The reality of the world. But another reality which is beyond of the world, we have not tested it, but we are trying. So this state is seeker. Struggling, go to another shore. And this state, sometimes the seeker connect with the world and sometimes it try to connect with the consciousness. The seeker is between both. Sometimes like a common man, like other person who understand the reality of the world. The seeker also understands the reality of the world. But sometimes the seeker is not a common man. It is a more than common man. The seeker wants to realize some another reality. He have heard, but he do not have its experience. When the seeker also attached itself with the body, the sense comes I-ness. I, myness, my body. Arudha sakte ahamo vinasa. So this is a very strong power. No one can easily destroy it. Kartum na sakya saisapi panditayyapi. Panditayyapi, Pandit does not mean a knowledgeable person. The knowledgeable person is not interested to test the real test of the self. They are interested in debates, discussion, but Panditahi, who knows what is real, what is unreal, it cannot be done by overnight. You cannot take it for granted. No one can take it for granted. It will going to happen. No. You have to achieve by proper way. So Shankaracharya wants, except those, ye nirvikalpa ki samadhi nisalaha. The other part is the seeker who has achieved nirvikalpa samadhi. Nirvikalpa samadhi. The topic of samadhi will come, I think, after some verses. Then I'll take the topic of samadhi. But today I just want to introduce it. Nirvikalpa samadhi. What is nirvikalpa samadhi? In Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says there are two types samadhis. One is sampragyat samadhi, another is asampragyat samadhi. We can say like this way also. One is sabij samadhi, another is nirvij samadhi. Sabij samadhi, sabij means with seeds. And this samadhi, the first sabij samadhi, has four types. Savitark, savichar, vitarkanugat, vicharanugat, anandanugat, asmithanugat. The Savij Samadhi is four types, four kinds. It means with vichar, thought, vicharanugat. Another is with logic. Third one is with happiness. Fourth one is with I-ness. To make understand this samadhi, I would like to give you an example. Then we can understand it easily. Once it happened, the Rishi Vedavyas went to the seashore. There was very big crowd to see the beauty of the waves. Many people were enjoying. In sea, there are very big ripples, waves. Everyone was enjoying the beauty of the ripples, the sound. They had their own perception about the sea waves. There may be scientific logic, there may be some religious logic, but Vyas had its own perception. And the thought came his mind. He thought, when Deva and Asura were churning the sea for nectar, and they brought a big mountain, it called Meru, to churn the sea. But it was very heavy. When they put the mountain in the ocean, it was going under always. There was no support. It was very heavy. So complete this process, Lord took an incarnation of tortoise and he entered in the ocean. The mountain put the back of the Lord. It was so heavy. But for the Lord, it was very enjoyable. And the process was started of churning. The mountain was over the Lord's backside. Slowly, the Lord the God sleep. And when we sleep, then one thing happens. Our breathing system becomes very fast. See, we think when we are sleeping, we are getting rest. But you think when you are in sleeping, your breathing is very fast. And the inhalation, exhalation becomes very fast. Vyas was thinking. So inside in this ocean, God is sleeping and his breath is very fast. He is inhaling and exhaling. Because of that, in the ocean, high tide and low tides happens. In this thought, in a single thought, he remained 3 days, 3 nights. He becomes quiet, restless, complete rest, quiet. He did not know how many days has been passed. He did not know what happened. He did not know I am hungry. He did not know I am thirsty. Nothing was there. No thirst, no hunger, no greed, no object, nothing. Just one thought. He could connect himself with the God. So this is the Sabij Samadhi. When you are stayed, when you are connected with one thought, it is your Sabij Samadhi. Sabikalpa Samadhi. When you come out from that Samadhi, that state, the problems are awaiting outside. Problems are there. Like a painter, when he paints, he can forget everything for a moment. But when he come out from the thought, the problems are waiting. Problems are there. But he was with one thought. So Patanjali says, when you are with one thought for a long time, it is your Sabij Samadhi. In Samadhi, you make objects subtle, subtler, and subtlest. In very beginning, you take a big object like Himalaya. Himalaya is your object for meditation. Himalaya is so big. So no problem for your object can disappear. No, Himalaya is very big. You can watch anywhere. Then make it subtle. Take one part of the Himalaya. For some time, take another small part of the Himalaya. Then just one stone is enough. Then slowly, your stone becomes narrow and narrow. And finally, the Himalaya disappears. Thought is not there. Object is not there. You are there. This is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. No weeds, no seeds. He says, Nirvikalpakya Samadhi Nischala. The person who has practiced, who has achieved the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, The seedless samadhi, they are quiet minded. They are established their own nature. For them, there is no problem. They are beyond the world. Except them, Ananta Bhavahi Vasana, we have so many vasanas, desires. We have so many desires, and one desire is enough for next birth. We have unlimited desires. And one desire can lead us to next birth. So many births. So Shankaracharya says, don't take it for granted. Do properly, take proper way of Vedanta, then you can control, then you can destroy this ego sense. Now, next one. Aham buddhyaiva mohinya yojitva abrite balat vikshepa shakti purusham vikshepayati tad gunahi. I repeat again. Aham buddhyaiva mohinya yojitva abrite balat vikshepa shakti purusham vikshepayati tad gunahi. The translation is, the projecting power through the aid of the willing power confuses a person with storm of egoistic ideas and distracts him through the attributes of that agitation. See another translation. The projecting power through the aid of strong willing power connects a man with the siren of egoistic idea and distracts him through the attributes of that. To understand this verse, I would like to remind you, there is a book, a text of Vedanta's very important text. It is called Driga Drishya Vivek. Driga Drishya Vivek. What is Driga Drishya? See, one thing has to be understood very clearly. In this perspective, there are two negative forces. One is willing power, and second is projecting power. The Maya has two powers, two forces. One is willing power, and another is projecting power. Let's understand. It is like this. If we do not understand any object as it is, but object is there, we do not know its reality, then we start imagination about that particular object. It may be this, it may be that. And your imagination, it may be cause for happiness or it may be cause for misery, but you do not know its reality. Whatever happiness or misery you are getting, they are because of your imagination, not because of that object. So first is willing power. Willing power, what does? It does just covers things. It covers things. It's like darkness. You are standing in very dark place. Very dark place. You cannot see anything. And there is your friend also. You and your friends, you are standing together, but you cannot see because of darkness. So, darkness is like a cover. It covers your eyes. So the first power is willing power. It is Maya's one power which covers the reality of the self. This power of the Maya, it does what? It covers yourself, your nature, your reality. Object is there, but we are not able to perceive. Like sun is daytime in the sky, but it is not visible because of clouds. And because of this willing power, our nature, our reality is hidden. Then, when someone does not understand the reality of the self, then we start imagination about the self. And we mix self with the body, with the mind. And since I-ness happens, and since my-ness, I-ness, I am this, I am that, and it becomes so firm, so strong, no one can doubt. So first is willing power. It covers your nature. You are immortal, but it covers your immortality. Your consciousness, it covers your consciousness. You are everywhere. This willing power of the Maya covers your omnipresent nature. Then what happens? There other power of the Maya work. Another power of the Maya works, and it is a projecting power. Projecting power makes us distract, agitate. We start imagination. I do not know about myself. I do not know my reality. But I am something. Then I start imagination. Imagination means what? Imagination means you create images which are not there. You are creating. You are creating some images, which image is not there. You are creating like, I am going to die. This is your imagination. Then, Vikshep Shakti Purusham Vikshepayati. This power of projecting power makes us agitate. Anger, greed, everything is happening because of this power. Now, next one. It is a very big verse. Vikshep Shakti Vijayo Vishamo Vidhatum Nishes Avarna Shakti Nivritya Bhave Drigdrishayo Sput Payo Jal Bad Vibhage Nashed Avarna Atmani Chasvabhavat Nisansayena Bhavati Pratibandha Shunyo Vikshepanam Nai Tada Yadi Chen Mrisharthi. The translation is, it is extremely difficult to conquer the projecting power unless the veiling power is perfectly rooted out, and that cover the self naturally vanishes when the seer and seen are distinguished clearly like milk and water, but the victory is undoubtedly complete, and it becomes free from all obstacles when there is no resting of the mind in the false sense objects. See the translation another way. It is extremely difficult to conquer the projecting power unless the veiling power is perfectly rooted out and covering over the Atman naturally vanishes when the subject is perfectly distinguished from the objects like milk from the water, but the victory is undoubtedly complete and free from obstacles when there is no oscillation of the mind due to unreal sense objects. Very big verse. There are so many meanings, so deep. Now Shankaracharya puts a question. Yes, been got what problem is. We understood what problem is. This is the problem. The veiling power and projecting power and ego-ness is our problem. But what is the solution? He says the way is first should uproot veiling powers. Vikshep Shakti Vijayo Vishamo Vidhatum. Veiling power should be taken on first. Veiling power is the root. And often, mostly, what we do, we try to control projecting power. We try to control projecting power always. Our mind is restlessness. We try to control our mind. In our mind, there are anger, there is greed, jealousy, hate, and we are become aware. In very first stage, we are not aware. Anger is, let it be. Who cares about it? But if you are seeker, then you can understand anger is not good for us and for others. Greed is not good. Hatred is not good. First, this awareness has to come. In very first stage, we were okay with these states. If anger is, then I say, I am not responsible for my anger. Someone is responsible for my anger. I am angry because of that condition, because of that person. I am good. I am perfectly right. But now, slowly, we could understand that No, anger is not good. At any condition, it is harmful. Restlessness is not good. Hate is not good. If you are in anger, another person would be in trouble or not, it is not sure, but it is sure you are in trouble. Another person would not. But it is sure you are in trouble. When awareness has come and we realize that it is not good, we should overcome from the anger. But how? Then we started some practice. We asked someone how to overcome from anger, how to overcome from the greed, how to overcome that, this, that. And there are so many systems in the market. Immediately they will say, do this, do that. They are ready to reply. Shankaracharya says, no, you will not succeed. Vikshep Shakti Vijayo Vishamo Vidhatum. It is not possible. You cannot control it. Why? Because agitation, anger, greed is just a effect. It is not reality. Roots are very somewhere else. Roots are, you have to cut roots. We have to cut roots, uproot. You cannot cut only leaves. You cannot cut only some branches. It will not work. But we are trying. We are trying how to overcome anger, how to overcome hatred. Shankaracharya says its roots are very deep. Nishes avran shakti nivritti. First, you have to remove the willing power, ignorance. Willing power means ignorance. In very first stage, in very beginning, if you want to remove all things, not only one thing, we work with anger. I do not want to be angry. So what I should do? One person gives some suggestions, some methods, and I try. I try. Somehow I could manage something about anger, but greed is there, hatred is there, jealousy is there. The same anger will come another way. Shankaracharya says, no, this is not solution. Nishes avana shakti nivritti. You have to remove the willing power. Ignorance. Ignorance the root. Because of that root, the whole tree existence. Because of that ignorance, the tree of the hatred, the tree of the anger, the tree of the jealousy, lust, passion, everything is rooted in willing power. So until you will not cut the roots of the tree will remain. Another leaves will come. Another flowers will come. Another fruits will come. You cannot stop. So that is why he says, Vikshep Shakti Vijayo Vishamo Vidhatum Nishes Avarana Shakti Nivritya Bhave. You cannot control your anger, your thirst, this and that desires. The root is willing powers. Drig Drishayo Sput Payojal Vibhage. And for this, how to remove our ignorance, he says, Drig Drishya. I was talking about the text of Drig Drishya Vivek. Drig Drishya Vivek, I would like to introduce. It is a very beautiful text. In this text, there is written, there is two types things. One is known, another is knower. The whole world is completed. Whole world is covered. Only two parts. And one thing is knowledge. So see, one point is known. Whatever we are watching, these all are known, perceived, seen. And one other point is, we have totally forgotten that another point is knower. Without knower, knowledge is not possible. So knower is the must. Knower is the must. But we totally forget about knower. We are very aware about known. So known, perceived, knowledge, and third one is knower. Now we can start another point. Knower comes first, then knowledge, and then known. We think about 2 points, known and knowledge, and we forget about knower. Shankaracharya says, Driga Drishya, knower and known. Knower and known. You have to understand very clearly. Sput means very clearly. He gave example, this is a mythological example. It is like this. If we mix water in the milk, it is very tough to separate them, understand them. This is the milk, this is the water. Same. But in mythology, it is said the swan can separate them. To make separation between them, there is required very special intelligence, very special quality. No other one can separate them. No other one can understand different them. They look very similar. They becomes one. They become one. But they are not one, they are two. So swan has very special quality to make separate them. Same. Here, Drig Drishyam. Drishyam, seen. You are know everything. I know, you know. These are the know. Drishyam. Only thing is thinking about knower. Who is the knower? In this reference, in this perspective, there are 3 layers. One is like this is one object. Like this is chair. Chair is a drishya, known. Chair is known. Your eyes are knowers. This is the only level. Chair is known. Our eyes are knower. Next level, our eyes, our other sense organs are drishya seen, and our mind is knower. Mind knows everything. What is happening with our organs? Our mind controls them. So our mind is the controller. So mind is knower. Our sense organs are known. This is the second level. In third level, your mind is drishya, seen. You are the seer. That is why you can see. My mind is now very restlessness. My mind is not quiet. My mind is working this, my mind is working like that. Because you are watching. Your mind is also drishya. You are the seer. Beyond that point, you are not any time you are not drishya. You are the drishta, seer. So see the point. Point is the subject, the self, the consciousness, individual soul is the seer. Mind is drishya, seen. Sense organs also seen, known, and other objects all are the known. Only self is witness. So Shankaracharya says, Drig Drishayo Sput Payojal Bad Vibhage. You have to have very special quality to understand this knowledge. This is the self, this is the not self. This is the immortal, this is the mortal. This is the consciousness, this is the not inert. You need very special quality. Why this division at nashed avaranam atmani cha svabhava? By this distinction, this discrimination, the veiling power will finish. You repeat again and again and again. Convince yourself. Nissansayena bhavati pratibandha sunyo vikshepanam nai sada yada chenmirsharthe. When your mind becomes quiet, mind can understand this drishya, the known is unreal. Mirsha. Mirsha means unreal. Your mind can understood that this is the unreal. Everything. And you are not attached with unreal. If you know that this object is not real, then your attachment will disappear. You are not attached any time with reflection. Reflection may be more beautiful. But you are not attached. Reflection looks very beautiful. But it is useless. You can see the rainbow, the bridge of rainbow. The rainbow looks like bridge, very beautiful bridge. But you know, no one can walk on that bridge. The bridge of the rainbow looks very, very beautiful. But you know, no one can walk, no one can cross it. That is just appearance. Beauty is there, but it is useless. When your mind becomes detached because of unreality of the object, then there is no any obstacles. You becomes quiet. Now next one. Samyak viveka sphutabodha janyo vibhajya drigdrishya padartha tattvam chinnatti maya kritamoha bandham yasmad vimuktastu punarna sansritihi. I repeat, सम्यक विवेका स्फुटबोधजन्यो विभज्य दृगदृश्य पदार्थ तत्व छिन्नत्य माया कृतमोह बंधम यस्माद् विमुक्तस्तु पुनर्न संसृति. See the translation. Perfect discrimination arising from direct realization distinguishes the true nature of the seer from the seen and snaps the bonds of delusion caused by Maya. There is no more transmigration for one who is liberated from this. See the translation again. Perfect discrimination brought by the direct realization distinguishes the true nature of the subject from that of the object and breaks the bond of delusion created by Maya, and there is no more transmigration for one who had been freed from this. Perfect discrimination. See the wording. How beautifully Shankaracharya has described. Perfect discrimination. We discriminate things always. But our discrimination is not perfect. It is useless. It has no power. So perfect discrimination between subject and object. What is the subject and what is the object? And they are very opposite natures. They have no similarity at all. It is very easy to understand what object is, what subject is. They have no similarity at all. If you apply some understanding, a little understanding, it can be done. It can be identified easily. Whatever we know, all known is seen. Seen are many, seen are inert, mortal, and just opposite. Seer is one, consciousness, immortal. All objects are because of subject, but subject does not require any object. Samyak viveka sputabodhajanya. This discrimination is must. When one understands clearly both, like milk and water, we can stop the objectification of the subject. After having done this discrimination, then we can stop the objectification of the subject and subjectification of the object. Then we will understand body as body is, and soul as soul is. Both will be pure. Objects also would be pure. Soul will be pure. When they have been separated, delusion will disappear. The delusion was due to ignorance. There was darkness of Maya. We could not see the differences between them. Now the light of the discrimination, we can see the objects without mixing. There is no I-ness, there is no my-ness, just object. Imagine what so beautiful the world is. So beautiful the objects are. Don't mix. The beauty of the objects can be experienced by only that person who is free from I-ness and my-ness, just object. Objects are not your, objects are God's. The objects become more enjoyable than before because of their purity. So first make the separation. Objects is like object, subject is like subject. विभज्य दृग्दृश्य पदार्थ तत्वम छिन्नत्ति माया कृतबंध मोक्षम. Then Shankaracharya says, first thing is you have to discriminate drig drishyam. What is soul, what is the objects, you have to separate them. Then finally maya krita moha bandham, the limitations has come because of ignorance, they will also disappear. You will be unlimited. Yasmat vimuktas na punar sansriti. And once, if you have understood the reality of yourself, you are not the drishyam, you are not mind, you are not object. All objects are because of Maya. You are not because of Maya. Maya is because of you. You are not the cause of them. You are not because of Maya. Objects are because of Maya. You are beyond the Maya. So, having this understanding, that person will liberate. It will not come the cycle of the world. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasisyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Sankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.